Trey Lance, you said 9 of 11 today. I heard that there was an interception. I didn't hear you talk about that. Maybe I'm wrong on that, but I heard that and maybe it was somebody that misinterpreted something that was going on, but I heard that he threw a pick to Tariq Castro Fields. I don't know if that was like one-on-one drills. I don't know.
No.
Okay, so that didn't happen. That's good to hear. Okay. All right. I love the look.
Who said that?
It was a rumor going around on Twitter.
No,
So
never
I don't
happened.
know. I didn't know it was true. Okay, good.
No.
So he didn't throw a pick today, was 9 of 11, looked fairly accurate.
He should have thrown a pick. He
Right.
hit Mosley in the chest, but that's because the receiver fell down with the ball in flight. If you throw
So
the
not
ball in
his fault.
anticipation,
So
it happens sometimes. No, I was
okay,
not his fault.
Okay, all right, great. So
Yeah.
that's good to hear.
Yeah.
But Trey Lance, I remember very early on, you're like, wow, this kid he could be the starter, right? He looks really good. But now that we're a year removed, try to put yourself in that headspace from last year, Grant. Seeing Trey Lance for the first time at this time of year, what are some noticeable differences, if any? I don't want you to make anything up, but is there anything that you see from Trey Lance that you're like, yeah, this is definitely an improvement? Anything, physique, whatever.
I mean, we talked about in OTAs, it's like just doing everything faster.
Yeah.
That's obvious. But we talked about that already. I think the big thing with him is like last year, he was so pressing. He wanted to impress so bad. And it's like he was with the second team. He was only getting so many reps. It's almost like he was trying to do too much, or he just wasn't comfortable on the field. Like he felt he needed to sort of win the job every day. And this year, I mean, there's none of that. You know, you're not going against Jimmy. It's your team. And he's not like if the first throw isn't there, he's not like holding it, waiting, trying to create a bigger play. It's just like, check it down. Throw it to the running back in the flat, move on, execute the offense. You can always do that. But you don't need to necessarily practice it all the time. You don't need to practice like hunting the big play, which I felt he might have been doing sometimes. I mean, I would if I was that gifted. Today was just a very modest first practice. Let's just get in and out. 9 of 11. Could have been 10 of 11. Frankly, he missed the first throw and hit the next 10. One guy slipped. Let's just good day one. Let's move on today. It was a very mature practice, I thought. Not particularly flashy at all.
Yeah, absolutely. And I don't know if it happened this early or if it happened more with pads, but I remember hearing a lot from you talking about Trey Lance buying time.
Right.
Like he wasn't seeing things right away and he would buy time, which may or may not end up as a sack. And, if it was real football.
Correct.
Do you felt like he was more decisive and not worried about buying time? He just knew where to go with the football?
No question. And I think he understood, look, I mean, half the time Kittle's not out there. Debo's not out there. Trent Williams isn't out there. McGlinchey isn't out there. Got to be decisive here. Got to make it. I mean, it's not like it's real football, but you got to be decisive here. And he was. He wasn't hunting the big play because, frankly, George Kittle and Debo weren't out there, and Trent Williams wasn't out there. So just execute. And I think last year what he was trying to show was, I'm the more exciting option. Jimmy's boring. You want me? And now what he's trying to show is, I can do the boring stuff. You already know I can do the exciting stuff, but hey, I can be boring. You want me to be boring? You miss Jimmy? I'm boring too. I can have a boring day. I'm just boring enough. So he can do it all. I think that's what's so cool about him. He's not a certain type of quarterback. It's all about having a very young, moldable ball of clay who can do everything. Why limit him? I like that.
And I think, for me, that was one thing that I really notice about Trey Lance is that he's actually more conservative than what people want to say his physical makeup is. Like, yes, he's got a big arm. Yes, he can run the ball, all of those things. He's actually a fairly conservative player. He's going to protect the football. Long term, I don't see a lot of interceptions from him. Maybe his rookie year, you're going to have some gaffes, but I think long term, he's not going to be a guy that's turning the ball over 15 plus times in a season. I just don't see that from him.
It's not in his nature. He's very disciplined in how he plays. If you want someone who is on the other end of the spectrum, it was Zach Wilson. At BYU, he would just run around in circles and do whatever he wanted. Trey was very disciplined. We're going to win this game, and I'm going to, do as little as I have to do. I kind of prefer that style of football, but either one can work. Mike 209 says, Senior Pops tweet about Coach and his demeanor, lack of enthusiasm. What's your take on that? Coach seemed more forthcoming with info so far. I have to cover him every day. He definitely doesn't really like talking to us. He tries to pretend like he does, but he doesn't like it. Most coaches don't. But what I don't appreciate about him is sometimes he can have a Bill Belichick demeanor. And I don't like the way Bill Belichick talks to the press anyway, but it's sort of like he can sort of do it because he's Bill Belichick and he's won a million. Like, dude, you haven't won anything ever. So that kind of gets me. And just to talk specifically about how he talked yesterday, you know how he does when he gets in the chair and he's like leaning back like this.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But at the same time, he wanted to be there. And he spoke like he said 85%. He did 85% of the talking. So I think part of him is like a little defensive about the Trey Lance stuff and bitter that people don't just give him the benefit of the doubt like Belichick would get. And then he has to defend himself. But at the same time, he's doing all of his press conferences at 9:15 in the morning this year, which to me, right in the middle of rush hour, it's like you're really trying to make sure the riffraff doesn't come down. It's like just the seven of us asking the questions every day. So it's not, you know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like he's a little, doesn't want the questions this year, but
he's in mid-season form already is what it sounds like.
Yeah.
He's like, no, I'm good. I also feel like I get the feeling from him that he's like last year, it really was, I don't want to say a make or break year, but they needed to have a winning season, right? That pressure is now off of him. And I also feel like he's got this low-key swag about him that he knows something that nobody else knows, right?
Yes.
From the national media perspective. And he's like, you think you have it all figured out? Wait until I unleash Trey Lance on you. You have no clue what this is about to do to the league. I think he's got a little bit of that in him, and I like to see it.
That's the ultimate sense of confidence, right? When you feel like you have a secret that no one else knows. That's kind of how Kyle acts most of the time.
Yeah.
He knows something.
Yeah.
Joshua White says the Niners are different when Juice and Kittle are on the field together. Are there any young guys who can fill those roles when those? No. Dwelly. He's the super backup. People said I missed super chats, which sorry. On the goal line, was Sermon with the second team? Yes, not the first. But again, he looks better. He looks way slimmer.